I don't know, somebody probably has a show on right. Look at the background of these trolls. Are they obese? Are they going out of their mind? They're not going to be around for long. Now realize that they feed on this stuff. They feed on your response to them. Now everybody goes into a burnout. Sooner or later, everybody's going to go into a burnout. Now, if you examine the lives of some of these trolls, we all know there's one common denominator: their weight, their health, eating habits, etc., their age, combination of all of the above. Now, with that in mind, you got to think to yourself, humor them because they're looking for some attention. But you could humor them. You could start there, or not go there at all. But you got those choices. But I personally think that let them give them enough rope, they hang themselves, such as in the thumbnail that I have on my show. Let them hang themselves. It works. Sooner or later, their body's going to give out. Most of these people don't take care of themselves. So this is another way of looking at it. You don't have to deal with them in a direct way. Let them do the things that they do. Let them do the things that they do best. It catches up to them either in a legal matter, a personal matter, or a health matter. So if you wait long enough, they're not going to be around anymore. Just look at it that way. Now, never mind somebody's age in general. If you're healthy, you could live to be you know, and stay on YouTube for another 20 years. You know, I might be one of them. I may not be one of them, but I still hope to be out here on YouTube for 20 years. I certainly hope not. Somebody must be doing a show. That's what I'm thinking here, because there'd be a lot more people on tonight. But that's okay. Now, understand something. Um, I've dealt with a lot of people on here through the years, but I always find that their channel burns out somehow, or they get thrown off or something. The eventuality in regards to their health is that chances are, nothing's guaranteed in life or writing, but well, death is guaranteed, but some come before others. But they're not going to be around a long time. So if that's any comfort to some of you, or any of you at all out there, you'll realize that, let them blow hard, let them say what they want, and, entertain themselves. Just humor them. Just humor them, that's all. They want the attention, and you could give them the attention if you really want to. But you could also avoid giving them attention; they'll burn out. But on the other note, it's just a common denominator we're finding here on YouTube in this particular Philippines community is that you'll notice that a lot of the players they are obese, they are having health problems, they're on high blood pressure meds, diabetic meds, all kinds of shit going on. You got idiots that are trying to do a 100-day no food diet. That's Croak City right there. If he really continues that, he'll be gone. He'll be gone prior to that anyway. It don't matter. It's either or. He's not going to be around for a while. I can almost put my stamp guarantee on that. And I talk a lot about obesity on here because that is seemingly the number one killer of a lot of trolls on here, leading to books and things like that. Now, look, I'm not saying that I'm wishing this on anybody. I'm just saying that I think it's inevitable that some of these people, if not all of them, are going to suffer that because and I joke around about this. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on YouTube, right? Okay, but I do have some knowledge, though. I don't have to have that written degree, but to have any knowledge. And for what I calculate and for what I could see, I don't think certain channel trolls are really going to be around a very long time. I feel it in my gut, and from the knowledge I have, their diet, their lifestyle, judging from the medicines they're already on, and of course, number one, their obesity. They're not going to be around for a while. So, if there's somebody on here you really, really don't like, I guess you got to have a different mindset on this, and I think that's what I'm trying to say here is to have a different mindset. And once you have that mindset, you don't really have to deal with people the way maybe you've dealt with them before or see them in a certain way. Because let's face it, most foreigners come out here, they're older people, right? I'm one of them. I do a lot of things that are better than a lot of people on here. The smoking certainly is not good, but even with my smoking, which I only smoke like 4 drags of a cigarette and throw it away, but still I smoke, okay? But nevertheless, I do other things to take care of myself. Now, not everybody does that. And if you don't smoke, they probably drink a lot and a bad diet and everything, high cholesterol, high fat, and they're already obese. And they're also undersized as far as height and combine it with the obesity, you got the body mass index going on there, and eventually they're going to croak. They're going to be gone. You never have to deal with them again. So that's one way of looking at things. And that's how I look at it, because I know certain people that are not going to be around. By the grace of their God, maybe they will. But, on a physiological level, I just don't really see how that's going to happen as far as having any what we call longevity under these circumstances. So, I kind of kick back and I laugh about this. And I say, yeah, let them say this, let them say that, and let them do this and let them do that, because the eventuality is going to be that they're not going to be around any longer. Let's look at Mike Kaysen, whether you liked him or not. Mike, I think pretty much ate everything in sight, lots of hamburgers, lots of shit like that. Mike was overweight for his weight. Strategy of any guidance on his health would, to a doctor would be that he would have lost some weight, he would have changed his diet. So what happened to Mike Kaysen was, I would also say, was inevitable. Okay, so it's really through everything from body mass index. Basically they calculated from your height and your weight and ways like that. Okay, and your present condition now, and it's going to say your BMI, which is your body mass index. If you're way over your body mass index, you've got risk factors right there. If you drink on top of that, you increase your risk factor. If you smoke on top of that, of course, you increase your risk factor. If you eat horribly, like I said, your risk factor goes up. If you're sedentary, you add that to that. If they're under stress a lot, arguing with people constantly on here, that's another factor. So, and if you live in a city, there might be another factor too. Environmental pollutants, things like that. So it's really nothing that's written in stone, but 23, I think it is. My BMI is 23, I think. There's a way of calculating. Go on your phone. There's a BMI calculator on there. Now, we know people on here, their body mass index is probably way over 40, 50, 60%. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I could lose a little bit of weight, but my body's a medium frame, and I got a tiny bit of love handle, a little tiny bit. I got about 2 inches in my belly, which to me is gargantuous. It's not obviously gargantuous, but to me it is, because I like a certain weight. I like my belly to be somewhat flat, and I don't want to have any little tiny love handles, which I do in the back. I have a little bit of a love handle situation there. So yeah. I'm about, was that Nicey? Okay. I think I'm about 23, 24 body mass index, something like that. Somewhere around. I'll have to recalculate it again. Could be slightly different within a couple of points up, maybe, but not much. Yeah. I did notice that there's one pair of white shorts I have that I can't button up anymore, because I have a little bit of love handle that have about 2 inches in the waist. It makes a big difference to control that, because when you get older, it's kind of really hard to control your weight, and then you just let yourself go if you don't work on it. So it's up to you as an individual what you decide to eat. It's going to determine your future, how long you're going to live. If you're already like 67 years old, 68 onward, I mean, even prior to that, really, and even way lower than that, I mean, you could die at 20 years old of heart disease. I mean, according with their children, believe it or not, has extraordinary high cholesterol levels that have actually died from that. Children, you would never think that. One would never think that. I would normally never think that. But that has also happened. So imagine if you're at a later age and you just really don't give a shit about what you eat, or you're doing stupid like going on a starvation diet unsupervised. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, goes with the territory of stupidity. Okay, but we can't control stupidity. That's one thing we can't do. It's out of our control. But seriously speaking, I've never been more serious. Well, I have been more serious, but I'll be serious again. If you're obese, you got high blood pressure already, and you way over your body mass index, you're basically a stick of dynamite ready to explode. And that's probably the best honesty I could give you as a layperson, not a doctor. So disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but I, can read and study like anybody else does. And for what I have read, And I've seen this over and over and over and over and over again. The same studies and having to do a lot of things. Your triglycerides, your total, your LDL, your levels. You've got plaquing in the artery, uh, calcification, calcium in the artery, plaque, and that's building up in you, especially your carotid artery, your aorta. Everybody gets arteriosclerosis as you get old. You start getting atherosclerosis when you're 20 years old. It just builds up over the years. It's according to what your diet is, it's according to what you do. You could reverse that. You could reverse that. But a lot of people, they don't really give a shit. Now, like I always say on my shows, I can't calculate how long I'm going to live, okay? Because nobody really can. I can tell you that the genetics on my dad, at least my dad's side of his family for sure. I got an uncle right now who's 98 years old, my father's brother, okay, very close in the family. And sure, he's got all kinds of problems right now medically, but he's hung in there for 98 fucking years. So the genes, at least on my father's side, in my favor. Like counts here, I've been taking supplements and antioxidants and all that stuff. So, I got to be some people do, but like I said, there is no guarantees in life. You could take out insurance policies such as trying to eat some really good foods, taking proper supplementation. That's kind of what we call an insurance policy. Okay, now the insurance policy sometimes pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, you can't always fight Mother Nature or accidents or whatever it might be. Anything can happen. You get COVID and die, whatever, get pneumonia and die. I mean, just so many factors out there, disease. But if you keep your immune system strong, you should be able to fight off these diseases. Okay, so I did very common things like I have allergies, and my nasal mucus is usually clear, a good indicator for it's just being a nasal allergy. But sometimes you feel you have to cough up something because overnight is you got nasal post nasal drip that builds up. Okay, so you cough out some mucus, and according to color, it'd be an indicator of what's going on. Now, I've noticed that since I've been taking certain supplements and increasing my water and drinking warm water, and also taking an allergy medicine I haven't taken in a while, there's been great improvement. It's the way you can define whether you have a virus or a bacterial. But if you have really dark, or if you have brown mucus in your chest, any red color, then you're definitely having some lung problems. You need to go see your physician, get some MRIs done, whatever you need. Other than that, viral, cold, or whatever, or seasonal or perennial allergies, mean year long. You just need to treat with antihistamines. It's not a big deal. You just have to deal with certain things. It's uncomfortable. Occasionally, you get congested, runny nose, and things like that. You wind up coughing a lot because, oh, not a lot, but you'll cough because you have the post-nasal drip and you got the mucus running down the back of your throat, and you feel that you have to cough up something. Okay, so it's simple. I mean, it becomes complicated when you see things like if you got black in your mucus, if you got brown, if you got red, then those are alarming signals where you need to see the doctor. Okay, so I just thought I'd discuss that with you on that. But not everybody on here is, destined to be around for a long time. Now, like I said, I don't know my future. I never pretend. And if you ever heard my shows, I may talk about health topics, but the one thing you've always heard me say is that I make no guarantees about my longevity. I make none at all. But I do at least do certain things that could help me with a little bit of longevity compared to somebody who maybe doesn't do what I do. We're vulnerable to everything. If you're living in the Philippines, especially, man, I mean, seriously, anything could happen here. A lot of things can happen here, even outside of biological and mental and everything else. I mean, this is a petri dish out here, and you have to trust me on that if you don't live out here. People ask me, Frank, why, who the hell wears socks in the tropics? Well, I've had, even in Hawaii, I wore sandals, but I also wore socks with my shoes. But especially here in the Philippines, there's a reason why I do that. I said on another show that is because of all the contaminants you're walking on, urine, different types of parasites on the ground and grass. And if you step in puddles, uh, you don't know what's in that. There's always some parasitic material in there. So you'd actually be stupid. And plus, sweat from your shoes. I mean, that's why I wear socks too. But I think you'd be stupid to, you want to play the beach bum role, you want to play that role, with the sandals. Hey, I live in the tropics. It's cool to wear shorts and sandals, and what do? You don't even protect your skin from the sun, which foreigners need to do. And you wear, flippers and all that, slippers, and you're getting all this shit on your feet. Then if you don't take it off, you're bringing it into your house and spreading this shit around. So I mean, everybody practices different hygienics, and I can't tell you what to do. I mean, you can just listen to me, and maybe it'll ring a bell in your head about something that, oh man, no, maybe I should start doing that. And if I convince even one person to consider some of the things I say, then perhaps I could save a life or something. Probably ask me, what the fuck do you care about anybody on YouTube? That'd be a good question. See, I don't have to be like that. Contrary to what John Blaze thinks, he wants to see people continue to fighting and everything else, and get his 2 words in there and get a little bit of attention to his channel. I don't know. That's a whole nother story altogether. We did mental illness shows already, so we don't have to go back into that. We're talking about physical illness, not mental illness. And a lot of the shit that happens to people out here are very avoidable. You just cannot be. Look, I went and bought a treadmill, and yes, I am using it. I'm not going nuts on it because I do use it every day. I go a half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile. But later on, I'll put another half a mile in. I take it easy on it. I'm very slowly acclimating to brisk walking like that because you can't, at an older age, you can't just, expect to actually run on a treadmill. Your heart is not probably healthy enough to do that. So, like a lot of things, like nurturing a relationship, you have to build up to it, okay, before ask her to marry you. You want to build up the trust and everything else. See if you're compatible. Same thing is that when you start home exercising or otherwise, you have to build up to this because if you don't, you could actually harm yourself or kill yourself. So don't try to be a hero. Everybody wants to be a hero, but you got to do things right. You got to face the reality, whatever age you are. And you don't have to be that old to practice precaution as to what you're trying to perform. How many people you see in gyms and they just can't do it, and there's no spotters, and those weights fall in your chest, done deal. So, as with anything, you have to be careful. Okay, so let's see. We got Ben. Who's Ben? I don't know who's Ben. I have no idea. No idea who Ben is. Anyway, I'm not planning to spend much more time on here. It's just that I'm expressing a little thought about mine. That if you're having trouble with certain trolls on here, just keep in mind that a very good chance and a very high percentage that they're probably not going to be around for a very long time, and you're never going to be troubled by them again. And I'm not just going to put out names on this show here, but you could, deduct who I might be talking to. It's very obvious that maybe fits all the information that I just provided. And, let them laugh, let them point fingers, let them call you names, just amuse them. If you really have to go to their show, just know in your mind that there's going to be some day, and it may not be too long in the future, that these people are just not going to be around much longer. And whether you want to rejoice about that or however you want to feel about it, it's just a fact of reality. I mean, we all have to die, but I think there are several, or numerous people actually here that fit the billing that are really not are that they are very sedentary. The way they eat, other habits, weight, the whole body mass index, the whole bit. So if you might be able to deduct who I'm talking about without mentioning names. So that's why I kind of take it with a grain of salt these days because I know better. And no, I don't have magical powers. I can't predict when somebody's going to just croak. I can just use an educated guess based on, science. Based on the facts that you already know visually and other facts about somebody. So you have trouble with somebody on here? They fit the criteria that I'm talking about. If they do, You know, just kick back, enjoy the ride, because you'll never have to deal with them again at some point, guys. Okay, I'm out of here.